Hello, yet again, guys. Man, it's hard to believe we're in Luke chapter 21 already. It seems like it's gone by really fast. And if you've missed any of our previous chapters, the previous episodes of this, they're easy to find. Go to our silvercreek.church website. They'll all be right there. Or you can go through Facebook. It's on our YouTube channel. There's lots of ways to find us. I'm sure you're savvy. You'll figure it out. But we have the entire book of Luke. And what we've been reading in this book has been so enlightening. To look at Jesus's life in one complete snapshot, to get to look at from A to Z, what a new perspective, what a complete understanding it gives you. And so I've been really enjoying this. I've been enjoying that we could do this together. But today's chapter 21, is interesting. And here's what I want to point out. If they made a brochure, like they made up a brochure and said, here's a brochure to tell all the reasons why you want to be a Christian. Here's a bullet point brochure telling you it's an advantage to be a Christian, why it's great to be a Christian. This chapter probably wouldn't be included if that kind of brochure was made. It probably wouldn't be in there. And so let's start reading and you'll find out why. Jesus looked up and saw some rich people tossing their gifts into the offering box. He also saw a poor widow putting in 2 pennies. And he said, I tell you that this poor woman has put in more than all the others. Everyone else gave what they didn't need, but she is very poor and gave everything she had. Pause. Don't misunderstand this. What this verse is not saying, what Jesus is not saying is, hey, poor people, their gifts are always more valuable than rich people because poor people are just cooler and better. It's better to be poor than to be rich. That's not what Jesus is saying. What Jesus is saying here is that the rich people had the same opportunity as the poor person to give sacrificially. And he's not saying you always have to do that. That's not the point. But the point is that it's easy to give a little extra. It's easy to give someone the leftovers on your plate. If you're eating dinner and, whew, I'm full. Oh, here, I'm feeling generous. Have the leftovers on my plate. Is that really a gift? Is that really the person next to you going, oh my gosh, thank you, I'm so glad you gave me the leftovers with your spit all over it and oh, yummy. That half-eaten chicken leg looks great. No. What Jesus is saying, it's better for that person to say at the beginning of the meal, hey, I've got this plate of food and I'm looking at you and I'm looking at what you've got. I've got so much more than you. You know what? Have my chicken leg. I'll eat these other pieces. Have this. And when you give something like that ahead of time, that's what Jesus is talking about. Don't give your leftovers. Don't give out of, well, it's not really going to hurt me that much to do this. Anybody can do that. What Jesus is saying, what his point is that we all are rich. And at first we can dismiss this as saying, I'm not rich. This verse doesn't apply to me. No. We all want to identify ourselves with the poor person, but here's the point. If you have enough, if you have a little bit more than what you actually need, and let's be honest, we can all look at each other's waistlines, me included, and probably come to the conclusion that we have more than what we need. Obesity is not exactly a distant foreign thing to us here in America, to us in the modern Western world. We have more than enough, and we prove it every single meal. When's the last time you had a meal and you thought, man, when's the last time we had enough? None of us. Come on. We always have enough. So if we have enough, that's better than most of the world around us. Most of the world looks at what we have that we call barely enough, and they say, I'll never have that much. I wish I could, but I'll never have that much. Do you realize that? The world may never attain the minimum that you count just enough. So this is what Jesus is trying to say. He's trying to say, wake up and recognize with what you have, let's share. Let's be generous. Not advocating, listen, I'm not advocating that poor widows should give the very last of their money to that TV evangelist they don't even know on TV who's saying, if I could just raise another $100,000, I could add to my fleet of jets and I could possibly get another brand new TV studio. Hey, look at what we can do. It's not what we're saying. I'm not saying that maybe all people are wrong for asking for money, whatever. There might be good reasons. But a lot of times, people are asking for money for things that are unnecessary. Just going to say that. Hey, I think People can travel just as well in commercial as they can in private. That's all I'm saying, okay? But here's the point. Not advocating that it's cool for widows to give away the last of their money or to not pay bills and go without to help some TV evangelist who really makes a great plea on television. Here's the point Jesus is trying to say. Help others. Help those who have less than you. Be generous to those who are in need. And yeah, if your local church is doing that, I know Silver Creek Church, we're constantly looking at how can we be giving out from ourselves. We don't want to be an inward focus. We don't be outward focused. So I want to make sure we earn your trust. I want to make sure we earn the trust of people who give to this ministry, that we're not making ourselves rich. We're not trying to build some little kingdom ministry. We're going to make our ministry. It's all about us. No. This is about others. And that's our focus. That's what Jesus is trying to say. Let's keep reading. Some people were talking about the beautiful stones used to build the temple and about the gifts that had been placed in it. Jesus said, "Do you see these stones? The time is coming when not one of them will be left in place. They will all be knocked down." Some people asked, "Teacher, when will all this happen? How can we know when these things are about to take place?" Jesus replied, "Don't be fooled by those who will come and claim to be me. They will say, 'I am Christ, and now is the time.' But don't follow them. When you hear about wars and riots, don't be afraid. These things will have to happen first. But that isn't the end. Nations will go to war against one another, and kingdoms will attack each other. There will be great earthquakes, and in many places people will starve to death and suffer terrible diseases. All sorts of frightening things will be seen in the sky." Pause a second. I want to explain. Jesus is telling the people in this audience that he's talking to right now, he's saying, look, this temple is going to be destroyed. I know it's hard to believe because it's beautiful. I mean, they were marveling how gorgeous it was. It was beautiful. It was put together by master craftsmen. But Jesus is trying to point out that it's not all about the place. It's about people. And so Jesus is telling them, he's prophesying that here's something that's going to happen. This is all going to be torn apart and taken down. And here's the amazing part. It came true. Jesus predicted something here that, since we're looking back now, I can tell you that in history, about 40 years after this, what happens? That temple's taken down, not a single stone left. Just like he said. Everything he's saying here actually happened 40 years later. So we're not reading about a guy named Jesus who was right once in a while and did some nice things, really good guy, good prophet, blah, blah, blah. No. We're reading about a person who did the miraculous signs. We're reading about a person who also was able to tell you what's going to happen in the future and was always spot on with detail. That's why we can trust what he has to say. Let's read on. "Before all this happens, you will be arrested and punished. You will be tried in your meeting places and put in jail. Because of me, you will be placed on trial before kings and governors. But this will be your chance to tell about your faith. Don't worry about what you will say to defend yourselves. I will give you the wisdom to know what to say. None of your enemies will be able to oppose you or to say that you are wrong. You will be betrayed by your own parents, brothers, family, and friends. Some of you will even be killed. Because of me, you will be hated by everyone. But don't worry. You will be saved by being faithful to me." Okay, hold on a second. Remember earlier I talked about that brochure that could be created? I don't think the brochure would say, "And guess what? When you sign up today, you'll be hated by everyone." That doesn't exactly make a great brochure. But Jesus is telling the truth. You want the truth?
Don't have to answer that question.
I'll answer the question. You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.
Jesus is telling us the truth. And the truth is, what we're signing up for is not a country club. What we're signing up for, when we say, I want to be a Jesus follower, we're signing up for something that makes us a better person. A better person is not selfish. A better person is not self-centered. A better person doesn't wake up after 30 years of their life or 40 years of life or 50 years of life or 60 years of life and say to themselves, man, I'm really glad what I did in my life because I did nothing to help anyone else. No. Who wants that? You want to wake up at the end of your life and realize, man, I made a difference. People at my funeral will say, thank you. Thank you. You made a difference. You were extraordinary. That's what Jesus followers want to hear. That their life counted for something. That their life will be remembered as a person who made a difference in this life, that lived their life for others. If a bit inside of you rings to that bell, that's exactly because you are the kind of person that wants to be a true Jesus follower and live a life where you make a difference in this world, where you enter heaven hearing God say, well done, well done. You took what you had in this life and you made it count. Let's read on. When you see Jerusalem surrounded by soldiers, you will know that it will soon be destroyed. If you are living in Judea at the time, run to the mountains. If you are in the city, leave it. And if you are out in the country, don't go back into the city. This time of punishment is what is written about in the scriptures. It will be an awful time for women who are expecting babies or nursing young children. Everywhere in the land, people will suffer horribly and be punished. Some of them will be killed by swords. Others will be carried off to foreign countries. Jerusalem will be overrun by foreign nations until the time comes to an end. Strange things will happen to the sun, moon, and stars. The nations on earth will be afraid of the roaring seas and tides, and they won't know what to do. People will be so frightened that they will faint because of what is happening to the world. Every power in the sky will be shaken. Then the Son of Man will be seen, coming in a cloud, with a great power and glory. When all of this starts happening, stand up straight and be brave. You will soon be set free. Then Jesus told them a story. When you see a fig tree or any other tree putting out leaves, you know that summer will soon come. So, when you see these things happening, you know that God's kingdom will soon be here. You can be sure that some of the people of this generation will still be alive when all this takes place. The sky and the earth won't last forever, but my words will. Don't spend all of your time thinking about eating or drinking or worrying about life. If you do, the final day will suddenly catch you, like a trap. That day will surprise everyone on earth. Watch out and keep praying that you can escape all that is going to happen and that the Son of Man will be pleased with you. Jesus taught in the temple each day, and he spent each night on the Mount of Olives. Everyone got up early and came to the temple to hear him teach.